This is KCAA.
I want you to do me a favor.
Yeah, sure.
I want you to hit me as hard as you can.
You're entering a world of pain.
Whole world gone crazy!
What's your prediction for the fight, then?
Prediction?
Yes, prediction.
Pain.
Let's get to it.
Cause I got nothing to do. The bad.
It's hot. It's hot outside right now. Ridiculously hot. Armpit sweat hot. But you know, I'm at the point right now where my pits are sweating. I don't care. It sounds like a country song. My pits are sweating and I don't care. Onion smell from underwear. You know, the country songs always start like fun like that, but then by the chorus they always get very patriotic, you know. By the chorus it's like, and that's what the South's all about, or something like that. It's like you start off with it being hot outside, but they always got to make a political statement. This is nothing to do with Brian. Sorry, just wanted to get into the weather. Of course, this is radio. I got to bring up weather and traffic every 10 minutes. Nothing to do with Brian on KCAA 1050 AM, Fridays at 5. And I got a new website, people, that I'd like for you to go check out. It is nothingtodoradio.com, and on there you'll be able to get all my past shows for not only this Nothing to Do show, but also my old show with my old buddy Rob. It's Rob and Brian. We also got all those past episodes on there, so you can kind of listen how the show and how myself have evolved when I was just a greenie, not knowing what to say into a mic, thinking I was funny enough off of it and that it would translate. And sadly, I'm beginning to realize it's tougher than it sounds. Also on the website, you can chat during the show. There's a cool little chat function up there. Any other fans that I have out there, mostly right now it's probably friends and family. Soon they'll become fans of me. And you can chat along with them. Maybe break into a little bit about what we're talking about. If I'm talking about a zombie flick, throw in which ones you liked and which ones you hated. And trust me, zombie references will come up at least 9 times each show. So get into that, nothingtodoradio.com. Please go check it out. You'll dig it. We got a lot of cool advertising specials right now on it. If you want to get involved with the show and if you want to purchase ad time, or even if, let's say, you own a tattoo shop and you want to come in and maybe tell me a little bit about why tattoos are cool and not douchey, maybe argue with my point, you could come in and have that argument with me. So that's a pretty cool way to get a sponsor is say, come sponsor on my show. I think your product is douchey. That's probably why I don't have many sponsors yet. Hilarious. So we got Joe in the booth. Joe, how are you? Wunderbar?
Terrific.
All right. You sound wonderful. Look good. He looks like the older brother in Independence Day, if you remember. A little bit younger Keanu. You know what I'm talking about? That's where my references go, people.
Oh, yeah.
But for our customers, our listeners, I should probably bring up Green Acres references, but I'll stick around 94, 93, 94. Absolutely. I wanted to first come off with, we're going to be talking a lot of movie talk and a lot of celebrity talk today because there's a couple things that I've realized the past week. When people make lists, when these magazines make lists or with these websites, a lot of time you'll see the top 100 movies of all time. And usually Godfather or Shawshank or maybe Citizen Kane, they'll usually be at the top. Or even with best songs, best records, you're going to have some Something Blue from the jazz guy. So well, I know jazz. You'll have the Doors, you'll have the Beatles. They'll always be in the top 5, top 10 of music lists. But I notice when they do these most beautiful lists, they change a lot, and they always have arguments for why they change. They say they don't want to make it stale, so they're not going to put Megan Fox at the top of the list each year, even though that doesn't really make sense. But let's go ahead and throw 75-year-old Jane Fonda in there. That makes a lot more beautiful sense. So we're going to be getting into that in the latter part of the show because a lot of the people on it, I not only think it's politically motivated, but I just think it's publicists that are paying a certain percentage to a certain magazine to get their client on there. That has to be the way it is, the way this list plays out. You guys are going to crack up about who's number 1, 2, by the way, and disagree. If everybody's disagreeing so much, by the way, it can't be right. So why don't you just retract it like you gave some erroneous information, and change the number 1. The people hate it. People magazine, the people hate it. You don't speak for me, and you don't speak for us people. But the first segment I'm going to get into is I was watching a really good movie, and I won't say yet because that'll spoil the end of my rant here. But I was realizing that movies are are great movies often have bad parts in them. Not only maybe bad individual scenes, but usually completely horrible B and C storylines that are playing underneath the main storyline that if they cut it out, it would have made the movie so much better. But because the movie's so good, we usually give it a pass. So that's what I'm firstly and most importantly going to get into is movies like that. But I wanted to bring up the Jason Collins just coming out as the first gay NBA, and I think major four sports, the top four sports, which what would that be? Baseball, football, basketball, and soccer. Do I have to say soccer? Soccer or hockey? Yeah, he did a hockey motion. That was more of a foosball motion, pulling it in hard. Foosball is way funner and more entertaining, by the way, and causes just as many drunken fights. A lot of people don't know that. Jason Collins coming out, 7 feet tall, African-American center, by the way. I would have never called that one. That is that was a shock and terrifying, and I think perfect the way it works out, because who's really going to be causing problems with the center, with the 7-footer? You're probably just going to, even if you don't respect it, I think a lot of religious rights are going to go, yeah, we'll let him pass. We'll let that Goliath pass. Jason Collins, who came out and said he's known he was gay, I think he said his whole life, of course. I think you have to say that too, by the way. And that's kind of where my confusion lies. In the same week, Jason Collins comes out. We had somebody go back in, and I don't even know if it was go back into the closet, but basically leave their same sex and go to the other sex. And I'm actually happy because it's a beautiful woman, Amber Heard. You know about Amber Heard over there, Joe? You know Amber Heard, right?
I have no idea.
You have no idea, dude? Google image is all I have to say. She's a beautiful blonde who came out as a lesbian a few years ago, and was glad about it. They were saying, here, we're not all short hair and butchy. We have these beautiful lipstick blondes that'll come out of the closet. Girls like Portia de la Rossi. Is it Portia de la or de Rossi? Portia de la Rossi, I think it is. Ellen's girlfriend. Gorgeous, from Arrested Development. We have these long hair blondes. So if you are pretty girls, pretty cheerleaders, if you are looking to come out of the closet, we got a pretty good base here for you. Amber Heard went back into playing for the other team. She's dating Johnny Depp. Now the theory is either Johnny Depp can absolutely turn a woman back to the well, there's so many words I can use. Let's just say dark side. So I was going to substitute another word for dark. Kind of rhymes with dark, or doc. Rhymes with doc. And they're dating now. So we lost we lost Jason Collins to the same sex, dating the same sex, and that's fine. He was engaged, and he just always felt that it wasn't right. But if the argument always is, and this is always the ridiculous argument, is it's either choice or it's born this way, why are there so many times where something like this happens? Where somebody at 34 decides, by the way, he just went into free agency and he's getting a lot of good press, but that's just my conspiracy going into it. A lot of conspiracy. Obama calling him too, by the way. Obama calling Jason Collins for coming out. The President of the United States. Sounds a little bit like a conspiracy. I'd say that Jason Collins, the Twin Towers they were called because he has a twin brother. When the Twin Towers start going down, the President's involved. You know what that impersonation was in there, Joe? That's Alex Jones. Joe's a viewer. The only reason I'm going to you so much is right before the broadcast he told me I'm not an on-mic person. So now that's all. That's like if the worst thing you could have did is come up to me and go, make sure not to curse on the air. And literally I would have been dumped. You wouldn't even heard the intro so far. I would have been dumped so many times. I would have been thrown off the air already in cuffs. Yeah, so that's why I'm going to you so much. So yeah, so if the argument is it's choice or born this way, how can people kind of slide in and out? And I've noticed too, Glad's not really bringing up the Amber Heard situation as much as they are the basketball player coming up. As much as everybody's talking about how Collins is this great hero, which that's a big term. It's kind of like calling Miley Cyrus a legend in music. People throw around those terms a lot. But anyways, yeah, that was my whole thing. If who cares if it's choice? I don't even care, honestly, if it is choice. A girl can be promiscuous, and either it's because she was touched when she was younger, or she's comfortable enough with her sex to sleep with a lot of guys. Either way, it's a choice, or she was born that way, or something happened. I don't really care. It's your right to do what you want and do who you want. So if that's the way he wants to do it, he wants to come out at 34 and shock his fiance and the world by coming out. That's fine. But sometimes you can't say the born this way argument. That's all my point. Is that a little controversy? Let's get into something a little bit funner. I want to talk about great movies with bad moments, and I'm focusing on one person, actually. One person's movies who is a hero of mine, and this might be sacrilegious, but I'm going to dissect a few of his movies.
Who you gonna call? Bill. Who you gonna call? Bill Murray.
I found this song about Bill Murray. I was recording it before it even like my mic was already shoved up to the recorder and recording it to put it into the show. They have a rap song about Bill Murray. Really weird YouTube video too of that song. It's just like Call of Duty. It's just like video game footage of really cool, I guess, kills. And this song's playing in the background. Nothing to do with Bill Murray, but I like it. I like that it's reaching different platforms. So Bill Murray. He's ingrained in my DNA and my memory as much as probably any family member. It's people like him and like Jim Carrey in my life. I feel like I literally know them, and I know it's kind of a cliche, but I feel like if I met Jim Carrey and he didn't have that reaction of like, oh man, how's it been? I would be very upset because he's just ingrained in my youth and ingrained in my teen years and now into my adulthood, and he's still around. So Bill Murray has made a lot of great flicks. A few off the top of the head, of course, Ghostbusters, and one that I actually wanted to start with that was a cool take on, I'd say it's the time travel genre. It's kind of a time travel. You know what? It's actually the opposite of time travel. It's more like time stay at home. Kind of a time vacation where time doesn't go. You don't go forward. You don't go backwards. You just kind of stay in the same time and live it over and over and over again. Bill Murray, of course, in Groundhog Day. You like that movie there, Joe?
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's a pretty good flick.
Yeah, it's all right.
Talk 5 minutes about it. I want to hear a good 5-minute dissertation on Groundhog's Day. Great flick, of course. Anything with paradoxes. I just watched Looper last week. And, I mean, they're always great. It's great when they don't really explain it. They don't go into, you can keep playing it. I want that bed. I want to hear that bed. Play it underneath me. I love polka. How often do you get polka? Oh, wait, we have an entire show.
Saturday.
Yeah, we have a show dedicated to, it's polka time, right, on Saturdays on KCAA. That's awesome. And I follow a shopping show. Groundhog Day is great. It takes a concept such as a sci-fi concept that what if you relive the same day over and over and over again? And I think I just heard something on the internet that day that he lived over, people always wondered how long was Bill Murray there. He was there for, I think they said 500 years. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of that it almost has a Lord of the Rings Matrix type of a mythology around it, and you don't get that a lot from these light-hearted comedies with this slight little sci-fi feel. But not a lot to hate about that movie. It has a person who is a arrogant, egotistical guy who just cares about his career. And he changes throughout the movie to, at the end, become a better person. And when he finally realizes what it takes to be that better person, when he stops doing it, taking advantage of this crazy godlike ability and really starts using it to help other people, then he wakes up and it's the next day. It is February 3rd. Great movie. But what are some of the bad parts? What is the most annoying part of that movie to me? This man who's immortal, and he's a god. He spends all of his time, he spends his entire, those 500 years trying to woo Andie MacDowell. Andie MacDowell is not that attractive of a woman, people. I'm tired of being fed these people like Renee Russo, a chubby Renee Zellweger, or a thin Renee Zellweger. I'm tired of having them shoved down my throat like this person, this main character, who sometimes he can be a billionaire business owner, like Tony Stark going after Gwyneth Paltrow, little hint to our next segment, or this guy with godlike abilities going after Andie MacDowell. He spends 3 years learning to sculpt her plain face into a piece of ice. Like that, he's just spending his entire day trying to woo this woman who looks a lot like Gene Simmons. And I think that was mainly the thing that I didn't really like about that movie, was that Andie MacDowell was this main interest. You'd think she was a Sports Illustrated model that was just trapped in this. I mean, imagine your luck. And they should have used Chris Elliott more. So that was the first movie. Groundhog's Day. Again, we're sticking with Bill Murray. This next one is, I'm definitely going to get something thrown at me when I walk out of the studio. Stripes. Who doesn't love Stripes? I think I first started watching this movie when I was 5, and I didn't get most of the references, but they threw in enough for me to enjoy. They threw in John Candy, and kids love John Candy. Kids love candy. Kids love any type of candy. They love chubby bald ones who die unexpectedly at 50, and they love Jolly Ranchers. But John Candy's in it for me when I was 5, and then as I got older, I started enjoying, the likes of Bill Murray. It's a great movie. It's like Full Metal Jacket. It's like a fun Full Metal Jacket. You know, how could you go wrong with a fun kind of a okay, In the Army Now did it pretty bad when it basically you took basic training and kind of did it into a comedy. God, it'd be great if Pauly Shore just got beat with pillowcases full of soap and then shoots himself on a toilet. That's another actually good concept. Movies with great first halves that have horrible second halves. Stripes has got to be up there. Stripes has this amazing first half where you know you're putting the likes of John Larroquette and Bill Murray, and sadly Harold Ramis though is the most unlikable actor in history. Other than when he was in Ghostbusters, and even then it was just like there was enough of him where it was like, all right, he's the nerdy doctor guy. But yeah, movies with great first halves and horrible second ones. Full Metal Jacket's got to be on there. Full Metal Jacket when they're being trained, and you really see, you know, it seems like right after Sergeant the sergeant dies, right after the sergeant dies, right after he gets shot by Pyle, the movie completely goes down when they go over to Vietnam and Animal Mother comes in, and it takes kind of a sad turn. And it's not, you don't have Hartman yelling at you, and it just gets kind of Wedding Crashers. Oh shoot, Wedding Crashers is a great one. Great first half, showing the montages of the weddings, how much fun they're having, how easy it is to pick up 19-year-olds when you're in your mid-40s and you're kind of attractive like Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn. And Independence Day, I'd say, must be the king of great first halves and horrible second halves. You got the horrible Jewish stereotype of Harvey Fierstein. Just kind of funny. He was
a virus.
What happened?
We uploaded a virus.
Oh yeah,
and that's how we won.
That's pretty much how it was. I love that Will Smith magically knew how to fly this 60-year-old spaceship because he saw how it flew, and he tells him, he said, "I saw how this thing moves, so let me go ahead and jump behind the wheels." Independence Day. That's got to be this first half of the buildup of these aliens, and then as soon as the aliens kind of blew up everything and the hatches start closing on the ships, the movie really takes a dive, I gotta admit. So Stripes already, the second half in that movie destroyed it. It got really serious and weird. They were going after a Winnebago all of a sudden. That was bragged about to be the most expensive and state-of-the-art piece of equipment that the Army has, except it looks like a pedophile's camper, but it has GPS, so it's $10 billion. God, horrible. I don't like how that second half of that movie was. And Bill Murray and Harold Ramis, by the way, they're in this army where honestly most camps, most basic training camps at armies, they're full of 18, 19, 20-year-old dudes who are all in shape. They're all alpha males, so they kind of have that take first attitude. And they get the hot MPs. They get PJ Souls and they get a young Sean Young as their girlfriends. Bill Murray, honestly, he's very entertainable, but not really the best looking guy. Kind of got the Edward James Olmos face. And automatically they get these two hot MPs. That always bugged me too. But all right, the music stopped a while. I already started going. I went off my notes and started ranting as I do about movies. This has nothing to do, by the way, with Brian. I basically talk about the stuff that other people don't really talk about on radio. I talk about the stuff that maybe you have over a couple beers. A lot of what if stuff, kind of useless stuff, and it's good to hear because honestly, the world's serious enough. Coming in, I was listening to what equivalents to a guy on a cardboard box yelling at me. I guess a guy can't stand on a cardboard box. I guess he'd be holding a cardboard sign standing on like a milk crate, yelling at me about the end is nigh. And you don't need to hear that stuff. We know Barack's the devil, blah, blah, blah. This is a little bit of fun stuff. You know, I'm your IMDb and Wikipedia on the radio that you get to listen to while you're stuck in traffic. And I don't even have to give you the traffic because it's Friday at 5, so I guarantee you, no matter where you are, you're stuck in a little bit of traffic. So let's end with the last Bill Murray movie, and this is actually what got me going on why I wanted to do this segment, because I was watching this movie and loving it. Love the soundtrack. Let's listen to that actually a little bit. It comes in. A little Kenny Loggins for you. It's fun. There's nothing wrong with fun music. People always want to pawn it off automatically as queer and, feminine. But it's fun sometimes just to listen to something that makes you feel good. Walking on sunshine, when you had a great day at work and driving home, something like this pops in. On a Friday, coming home from work, you got the weekend ahead of you. But Caddyshack, what's wrong about Caddyshack? It's one of the only, if not the only movie done about golf that's entertaining. It puts a lot of juggernauts behind the wheel of the film and kind of lets them just go off script and have fun. They have Chevy Chase, Ted Knight taking a fun role instead of his normal serious roles, which honestly, as I've gotten older, my tastes have become more sophisticated. Ted Knight's now my favorite character. He's freaking hilarious. Everything he says as Judge Smells is funny because he's normally he'd be the uptight dean when all the college kids are trying to get it over on him, but he's that in this, but he's funner to listen to. And you know, Bill Murray, of course, coming back as the groundskeeper that can't do nothing right except try to kill a golfer. That's his entire plot of the movie is trying to kill a golfer. And I'd say, starting with the bad things about Caddyshack, I'd have to say that whole plot line and a couple of the plot lines. The plot line of Bill Murray and the gopher got old after the beginning sequence, when this song was probably 2 minutes ago playing in the opening credits, when the gopher first popped his stupid furry head up, and you realize that you don't really know what this movie's going to be yet, so it kind of took you off guard at first, and that was nice, and then the comedy comes, and you go, okay, this is a good movie. But then how they kept up with it, with the freaking animatronic gopher, that blew. And honestly, the weakest part of Caddyshack has got to be Caddyshack, the Caddyshack. The caddies in their shack. And the caddies alone. They're none of them are really recognizable. I don't really think I've seen any of them in any other movies. I don't think they really branched off a career from there and had a bunch of solo pilots. They're Danny, of course, the main dude with the horrible teeth. He's like Jim from The Office. He's kind of this no-care attitude with a passive-aggressive wit. And his Irish girlfriend is horrible. I don't know who's worse, the Irish girlfriend or the gopher. I guess they had to make her Irish because she was pregnant, and so they had to throw that into the mix. And for some reason, pregnant Irish teens is funny in a movie about golfing. They could have took that out, I'm thinking. The storylines that they could have stuck with, of course, is the tournament. Anything to do with the golf. Anything, by the way, with Bill Murray and Chevy Chase together. They should have took out the scenes whenever Danny was trying to explain to his Irish chick about why her plain self should stay with him when he's banging, by the way, the blonde girl in that movie. Oh my God! The only great thing about Danny in that movie is he was able to get her in a scene where she took her top off. That was fun. But yeah, they throw in these B and C line storylines underneath the main one. Normally it's for a love story. They want to have like Iron Man. I'm going to go see Iron Man 3 tonight, and of course they have to throw in a love story underneath it. And I understand you want the women to come in and enjoy something other than the dazzling special effects. And so of course we get to see the wonderful Gwyneth Paltrow in tonight's Iron Man 3 as billionaire Tony Stark's. I don't know if they're married now or if they're just a fiance. I don't know. She runs the company. They could have just stuck it with that. He gave it to his old secretary. He gave this $1 billion company to his old secretary. They could have stuck with that. But of course, Gwyneth Paltrow is the leading lady in Iron Man 3. And in our next segment, actually, when I'm discussing the world's most beautiful people that People magazine just released, guess who's topping that list? Old Pepper Potts herself, Gwyneth Paltrow. This has nothing to do with Brian. Call me if you want to join in on the fun and tell me a little bit about who you think is beautiful and why you think they are. NBC 888-909-1050.
Nothing to do.
I hope you're enjoying the show, but how'd you like to capitalize on this here fine program? Nothing to Do is currently interested in new advertisers. If you have an online or local business and are interested in increasing your customers, then how about getting some ad time on a popular radio show? Go to nothingtoduradio.com for details on how you can get involved with the show. 30-second commercial spots, live reads, Twitter and Facebook shoutouts, and premium ad space on our website, all for a ridiculously low price. Again, if you're looking to advertise, go to nothingtoduradio.com and let's get started with you supporting a great show and getting people in the door. Welcome back to Nothing to Do with Brian, again on KCAA 1050 AM. Always on Fridays, always at 5. Maybe we'll get another hour here and there. I don't know. we'll see how that works out. Hopefully in the next year, we'll be getting a bigger following. Hopefully you guys like what you hear. And if you do, let me know about it, please. Go to nothingtodoradio.com. A lot of cool stuff on there. Not only can you join my Twitter, my Facebook, and even subscribe to the Ustream where you can see this broadcast live as well as many others on KCAA. You could also contact me if you want to buy any ad time. If you want to be a part of the show, if you like what you're hearing, if you think that we mesh, if you think your product will do well on here, and hopefully in turn make more customers coming through the door at your establishment, then give me a contact. You can either give me a call, email, or even chat live with me. I always got my phone on, and there's a pretty cool app attached to the website where if you hit that chat live with me, you'll automatically be in touch with my phone in my pocket. I'll get back to you quick. I got good customer service skills, hopefully. So let's get this going. NothingToDoRadio.com. Into this next segment, I actually want to talk about lists. Now, I try to stay away from lists as a radio professional. And if you want to give us a call, too, by the way, always have to remember to give out the number. 888-909-1050. Call me. Tell me what beautiful means to you. Or just tell me who should have been on this list. We're looking for females at the moment. I know all your Hugh Jackmans and Ryan Reynolds and such will be thrown out there. But honestly, that even goes into my point. Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, Brad Pitt, Johnny Depp, and even Nick Nolte in 1992 were the best looking of their league at the time. They were picked because they were better looking than anyone else. And I understand that the qualifications can go into this person had a great year. Let's say they had a couple great movies. 97, I think, to 99, Brad Pitt had Fight Club. He had Seven. And he had, what was another flick that he probably had? I don't know, something to do about river fishing. So, yeah, it made sense. You're going to put this guy at the top, not just for his aesthetics, but also he had a great year. I understand that goes into it. But when they do the female list, I think what is involved in that, it goes a little bit more politically correct. They're never going to go with a guy, they're never going to do a said John Candy. They're never going to throw Chris Farley up there on the cover of People unless he passed away the night before. They won't do that. They won't be politically correct enough where they won't put a fat person as the main person. But yet with females, they'll throw in a few women in their 40s. They'll throw in a woman in her 70s, which is a fun one to have, and a couple of them that honestly I don't feel have been relevant the last few years. So right now, what I want to talk about is the beautiful people. I did not want to use this. I did not want to use this song. I was watching this video. How did people of my generation fall for this idiot? Like, I know you were the outsiders and you were looking for something to grasp onto. Are you guys that easily sold to different? This guy was different, I understand, but he's a hack. He was still dating blonde cheerleaders and good-looking girls and still living the Hollywood lifestyle. He just had a different package on, and people fell for it. He's a millionaire, people. He does stuff like records an album in where Charlie Manson killed all the peeps, but he won't do it at a place like like Columbine or something like that. They won't do anything that's going to get him in too much trouble. They're always just going to go, yeah, let's go ahead and go to where the La Bianca residence where they hurt people and kill people. Let's do that 40 years ago, because it's sexy and romantic. So anyways, that was my Marilyn Manson rant. I had to use that, of course, for the obvious reason that we're talking about beautiful people. But we're also talking about lists. Now, this list was made, and there's always arguments behind the list. They'll always say, well, we can't put Megan Fox as number one because she's always number one, and that's the obvious choice.
As she should be.
Yeah, of course, because she's the most beautiful and she's the most attractive. Well, we can't put Charlize Theron, even though she would be perfect for that older demographic. She would be perfect for the women to be portrayed as you can be gorgeous and not be a 19-year-old Swedish supermodel. They won't put her in there because it was probably done last year. That's their argument that they'll do. But let's look at this list on the top 250 movies on IMDb, and I'm going to start with 250 and go down. We might run late in there. No, well, we'll do the quick top 10, and we'll show you how a good list is made when the people, you hear me, People magazine, the people vote. Number 1, Shawshank Redemption. Beyond a doubt. Oh, he did a más o menos in there.
Overrated.
Overrated? Have you really? I'm going to sound like such a douche. Have you really sat down and absorbed what the movie was about?
Well, I heard all the hype going into it, and just wasn't impressed.
You weren't impressed with it. I like it.
It was a good movie, but come on, number 1.
Dude, you have to respect a movie that it puts a 30-year span into a couple hours. That's insane. Automatically, you got to respect that. Therese, line 1. What can I do for you?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. How about yourself? Where are you calling from, Therese?
Good. Corona.
Oh, Corona. Beautiful Corona. What can I do you for?
Well, you know what? I really don't think you can beat Mrs. Doubtfire.
That is a great movie. I would do an impression right now, and I think that's what you're looking for. Yeah, that's a good movie. But we're also looking for good movies, with maybe had what were the kids? I'd say almost any movie where there are kids involved. Thanks, Therese, for your call. I'd say any movie where the kids are a main focal point, they're almost always horrible. I hate kid actors. Kids destroy movies. So Mrs. Doubtfire, again, it gives the reign to the comedian, it gives the reign to the performer, lets him run wild a little bit. You're not going to try to direct Robin Williams like you would Pacino, and you let him go nuts. You film it and you put out his best stuff. It worked great. I love the concept. The Tootsie concept is a tried and true. Except I hate that there's always an old man that's always trying to hit on either Dustin Hoffman dressed up as Tootsie or Robin Williams as Mrs. Doubtfire. There'll always be an old man, like a bus driver, cab driver, someone who always ends up hitting. Didn't Al Pacino hit on Adam Sandler in that new horrible movie Jack and Jill? There's always a dude. Yeah, I never seen it either. That's the one you should give the not so good, not Shawshank Redemption.
I got 2 seconds into it.
Yeah, that was a good call, Therese. Yeah, absolutely. Mrs. Doubtfire was a great movie, and the bad point was the kids. The kids got obnoxious very quick. A lisp on a little girl is cute for about 2 seconds, and then you have to turn it off. But Shawshank's first, Godfather Part 2, Pulp Fiction, Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, 12 Angry Men, Dark Knight, Schindler's List, Lord of the Rings, I think the last Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, and Fight Club. Top 10 on IMDb. This is a perfect list for what I think people is trying to go for. Why? It's kind of like a wedding. Gives you a little bit of the old, gives you a little bit of the new, and it does it right. You look at something like The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2, they're always going to be up there because they are the top of their genres. Any movie that is the top of their genre, they should be up there. Shawshank, absolutely, for epic films. It's got to be at the top of its field. Both Godfather 1 and 2. 3 was not made. I pretend like it was never made. Top of the gangster film. I'd even say Goodfellas might have a good run. And even dramatic, crazy dramatic things that are hard to touch, like Schindler's List. But then they throw in those new ones that kind of came in and tossed off the older ones. I don't see Citizen Kane in there, but I see Dark Knight. I see Fight Club, and I see the awesome Pulp Fiction, the groundbreaking. Speaking of groundbreaking genres, what Pulp Fiction? I don't even know what that genre would be. Pulp. It's just pulp, comic noir, and they did it right. They didn't stick with the same 10 and go, regardless, we're never going to change our views. Well, Beautiful People, that People magazine decided to pick this year, they tried to do that, but they did it in a way that is confusing to me, and I think, honestly, a little publicist motivated. You give a little bit of money to People magazine maybe, and you say, put my client in there. They have a big year coming up. They have a big year coming up. They got a tour. They got an album. They got a movie. Let's get them up there. So let's start with number 10, Pink. I'm tired of Pink. I was tired of Pink since the first time I saw her. I don't care, man. I'm a punk rock chick. I'm not like everyone else. Blah, blah, blah. And by the way, you know what kind of girl says I'm not like any other girl? Every girl says I'm not like every girl. So that gets old, and the fact that it's Pink is obviously a marketing ploy to those, kind of the same way Marilyn Manson was kind of a marketing ploy. You're trying to hit the outskirts. You're trying not to get to the cheerleader. But regardless, I'd have to say that looking at Pink, she looks a little Scarlett Johansson-y. You could tell she's kind of pretty and kind of cute, and she just punks it up a little bit. I don't have as much of an issue with her being on this list because, again, top of her genre. If we're in a punk rock, Suicide Girl, on the outskirts of society, but we still want to go to the parties, all right, Pink can be up there. I don't have that big of an issue with Pink as I thought I would when I first started this. I get it, let's say. All right, we always need a Madonna. We always need a, I don't want to say Kesha. Kesha's just, that's a different, oh, Joe's giving the thumbs up to Kesha. Shawshank Redemption gets a Kesha gets the thumbs up. Next one's starting to kind of bug me a little bit. Number 9, Drew Barrymore. Now, Drew Barrymore is another one of those people that from as long as I can remember, she's always been there. From the cute little girl in E.T., through her sexy phase in Charlie's Angel, speaking out of the, a lisp, how cute lisps are and talking out of the side of your mouth. Drew Barrymore has a cute thing about her. She's not beautiful. Male in the booth. Is she beautiful? Would you ever classify Drew Barrymore as a beautiful woman? He's thinking about it. Oh, we should do a TikTok sound.
No.
You know why he thought about it so much, people? Because we're men, and he was thinking, would I bang her? And there's a difference between would I bang her and is she beautiful enough to be on this list. If we go into the list of bangable, it's Old and New Testament and Newer Testament length. It's 10,000 pages. All these women are on my bangable. Even 75-year-old Jane Fonda, sure, for the story alone, and pregnant Holly Berry, who's on here too. Absolutely, for the story and for the sake of saying I climbed that mountain. I'm gonna say I definitely would bang it, but not beautiful. Drew Barrymore is not beautiful. She's not traditionally beautiful, and she's not even kind of unconventionally beautiful. She has a cute look to her. She is bubbly. She seems like she'd be fun. She dates guys like Tom Green, so she probably has a good humor and has no problem sparking a bowl with you. I get it. It's cute. And again, maybe it's attacking that genre of a girl that you could approach. You wouldn't be afraid to approach if you saw her at a liquor store in front of you, buying a few of the mini bottles. You could be like, all right, I can probably talk to this girl. Whereas if it was a woman like Jessica Biel, it'd be a little bit intimidating, kind of tough, which, by the way, Jessica Biel should be on this list. And the only people who don't like Jessica Biel and don't think she's pretty is other women. Straight women, by the way, don't think she's beautiful. I got an argument yesterday with a girl saying how unattractive she is. Jessica Biel is married to probably top 3 biggest celebrity / superstar in the world. There's a reason for that. And she is gorgeous from head to toe. She is 5'10" and all of it, and she has a figure, she has a butt, she has breast, and she has a beautiful face. That's beautiful. Drew Barrymore, hippie-ish, Janis Joplin-ish, a cute Janis Joplin. I think I'll throw that in there. Okay, and now we're going to number 7 or 8. I don't know what it is. We're not even going to be able to get through all these 10. I'm going to skip a few. Holly Berry. Now, these people list, the way that they argue the Megan Foxes, why they don't have her on there, why they don't have Charlize Theron, why they don't have these beautiful supermodels like Miranda Kerr and Brooklyn Decker, is, everyone's expecting that. Okay, how could it be more expecting on your list than Holly Berry? Holly Berry, since 1993, with her old nose and Boomerang, when she was probably on this list, has always been on these lists. She's always in the most beautiful. And yes, I would say that she is a beautiful woman, but she's also 46 and pregnant, by the way. She's 46 and pregnant. She's on the top 10 most beautiful, where I could probably find a 19-year-old runway model who's more beautiful. So if we're talking about just straight looks, because this is you guys are trying to play this like it's a superficial list, but it's really not. You guys know it's not. You guys are knowing it's a beneath the surface thing that you're trying to relay, and you're saying, hey, older and pregnant women can be beautiful too. If they're your wife, all right, maybe if they're your older sister or even your mom, they can be beautiful, older, and pregnant. And you could say that they're beautiful, but I don't think a pregnant woman in her older 40s who has, I don't know, if you did the list or if you did a percentage, 15% that her kid's going to have something wrong with them, somewhere on the spectrum of autism, maybe shouldn't be on the most beautiful list. There's a lot of baggage that Catwoman's carrying right there. So next up. I'm not even going to go to her. It says Kelly Rowland. She's a cute young African American. They also threw 3 African Americans on this list, which I don't mind. There's a lot of beautiful ones. She had a big year. She had Super Bowl. Blah blah blah. She's an attractive woman, but I don't have a lot to go on her. As a suburban, chubby, 30-year-old white male, I don't have a lot to say about. Was it Carrie Rowland? I already forgot. Carrie. All right, I'm getting the middle finger now. Jennifer Lawrence. Now, she's at number 5, and I will be honest. They were right on her, but they weren't as right as they should have been. if we're talking about just looks, we're talking about talent, we're talking about a great year, this 22-year-old woman, Jennifer Lawrence, should be number one. I like The Hunger Games. I love The Hunger Games, actually. It's a great movie. It's The Running Man. It's a new generation of The Running Man. It's a Twilight meets The Running Man, which Running Man's strong enough that it can be diluted like that with some Twilight in it. Jennifer Lawrence should have been number one. She won an Oscar last year for Silver Linings Playbook. She has an amazing figure where she's not ultra thin and how everybody complains about how they have this Barbie complex. And she tripped on her way up to getting the Oscar and still pulled it off and still got she got her wit with her and was able to jump right on it and recognize what happened. She's cute, she's funny, she's everything that you'd want in the most beautiful. Not number one. There's 4 people above her, and this next person is going to crack you up as much as it is me. Jane Fonda. Jane Fonda is on the most beautiful list. Jane Fonda at a time was the exercise guru of a generation. She got people working out. She got you. She was the female Richard Simmons, where she made you feel good about putting in that tape and doing those repetitive motions over and over again to try to sweat it off for summer. She was cute in her day. Even in her day, she was obnoxious. During the time of Vietnam, this is how old this broad is, by the way. During the time of Vietnam, do you know that she went over there and denied that our people were suffering? Denied that really we were even in that much of a conflict, that it was a misunderstanding. She was a traitor 40 years ago to her country, and now she's on the most beautiful list at 75. And by the way, all the other women, they all have relatively close-up pictures of her. She's far in the background. She might as well be wearing a green jacket in front of a weather screen and telling you how hot it's going to be in Phoenix. She blends in with the background. They're not just airbrushing. They're going through the complete they're going through the complete hassle of putting her as far back as possible so that you don't really see a 75-year-old woman. And I'm confused why they did this. I don't know what type of statement people is really trying to make. Now, you can go with the 47-year-old Halle Berry if you're trying to do the older is beautiful, blacker the berry, sweeter the juice, or older. How did Smokey say it? Older the berry, sweeter the juice. You can go with that angle. 47's my cutoff. All right. I don't want to go higher than that. I don't want to go to Jane Fonda. I don't want to go to frickin' Bette Midler. Is she popular with the kids now? I don't want to go to these women who, honestly, they're too old to be on this list. They're still pretty in their own right. Jane Fonda's probably going to be the best-looking woman at the nursing home. She's not the top 10 most beautiful women in the world. In the world, people. A 75-year-old woman will never be more beautiful than a 20-year-old Swedish woman. And I'm just saying Swedish is in the whole. You could cherry pick one, and it's going to be cuter than a 75-year-old Jane Fonda. Guaranteed. Now, this next one I kind of get, but again, it falls into the cute category. It doesn't fall into beautiful, and Joe actually might be. I've noticed that there's normally a kind of a line in the sand on this woman, Zooey Deschanel. What are your thoughts on Zoe?
Cute.
Cute, absolutely in the cute category. A girl, again, back to the a girl that you'd like to have fun with. You like to go hang out. You like to do quirky stuff with. She's Miss Quirky. That's all she is. She's quirky with the buggy eyes. And honestly, just a little bit played out. A lot of these girls seem like they're just kind of. They're getting shoved down our throats. Where instead of reporting that these are the most beautiful, they're kind of telling you. They're kind of telling in the same way that a lot of radio stations and a lot of promoters tell you what the next big song is. Like I was being told to yesterday that the next biggest song is what's the new white rapper who's like he has a pro gay song or something that just came out. I've never heard of him before. You don't know? Shaking your head. Okay, but you don't know who he is. I don't really know who he is. But I was being told yesterday it's the next big thing. He's the new big hit. He's the new Eminem. He's the new, and I'm being told by, I'm guessing, a lot of payola and a lot of record producers telling certain. Pitbull? No, not Pitbull. I don't think Pitbull's white. Pitbull's funny. He's 5 feet tall and he's shorter than Jennifer Lopez, and he's acting tough on a stage when they're both presenting an award. That's hilarious. But yeah, Zooey Deschanel's being kind of told. We're being told that we should like her and we should love her. I liked her in Elf. I liked her in a The Yes Men with Jim Carrey. I noticed she does a lot of movies for being such a young woman with much older male actors, male leading roles. Jim Carrey and Will Ferrell, I think, were a good 36 years older than her, but she was playing the cute romantic lead. And I'll put her on this list. Just what genre would she be? Just kind of the painter, the girl who paints instead of parties. I don't want to say Girl Next Door. I know everyone's shouting right now, Girl Next Door genre. That's pretty hacky. But yeah, I guess if she was the girl next door, you wouldn't mind her being your first kiss. But I doubt she's going to make my list of most beautiful. This girl again, only this girl right here, and what was the previous beautiful one that I said? The one that actually honestly deserved to be on this list. Anyways, Amanda Seyfried. Amanda Seyfried is gorgeous. She's a beautiful, beautiful girl, and she should have at least been. Oh yeah, I said the girl from the Hunger Games. She should have been number 1. Amanda Seyfried is at number 2. She should have been. They should have been 1 and 2 easily. But Amanda Seyfried again, put her next to Megan Fox and Jennifer's Body, she definitely loses some of her looks. So in comparison. But number 1, and the reason I did this, and the most obnoxious of it all, Gwyneth Paltrow. Gwyneth Paltrow was told to me by People magazine that she is the most beautiful woman in the world. And I'm not even going to go into age on this. I think I already beat that enough, and I think I'm already getting enough emails and hate mail from the older folk telling me how wrong I am, that older can be beautiful. I won't go into her age, but she's not beautiful. She not only goes into the cute thing, but she kind of is obnoxious. And my whole argument at first, I was like, all right, I thought she was beautiful in Shallow Hal. I was really thinking about Shallow Hal, and I said, you know what, she's really hot. She's bending over a counter in a certain scene. But then I realized that movie was like a before and after picture in motion. It was a movie about a before and after picture. The main reason I thought Gwyneth Paltrow was so attractive was because she was next to a 500-pound version of herself. It kind of be like going, Eddie Murphy in Nutty Professor, when he was Buddy Love, he was better looking than Denzel Washington. No. He was just 500 pounds, and he took a potion, and he got to thin, slim Buddy Love with a great personality who can quip on Dave Chappelle on stage. But Eddie Murphy's not that attractive of a dude. I think Gwyneth Paltrow pulled that same thing off in Shallow Hal. It even confused me, because then you see her in Avengers where she's trying to wear like the cutesy shorts, like she just woke up shorts, kind of the Hello Kitty look, something that a 19-year-old Asian co-ed would wear first thing in the morning, maybe while she's working on her Mac. She's wearing that in the Avengers, and it just looked odd, It looked like if your dad showed up wearing FUBU. Or if he showed up and you could tell they were brand new Adidas, just brand new, like so white that it just hurt your skin. It was that bright and white, and just these brand new things that you're just kind of going, all right, not only just dress your age, but kind of stay away from my generation a little bit. maybe don't come in and I don't know, try to hip it up a little bit too much. But I don't get it. I think Gwyneth Paltrow falls into that same category as someone like said before, Renee Zellweger, or women that are Meg Ryan. Meg Ryan's a perfect example. Gwyneth Paltrow is the 2013 version of Meg Ryan, who I was constantly told was as cute as can be. And another different category that Meg Ryan and girls like Gwyneth Paltrow and Nicole Kidman fall into is women love them. Women think that they're the most beautiful women in the world. My girlfriend constantly tries to tell me how Nicole Kidman is a porcelain doll. I don't want to bang a porcelain doll. I don't care if she has wonderful skin and if she wears her makeup well. I care if what does she look like first thing in the morning? What does she look like without that makeup on? And I don't care what kind of nails or product she's using to have those looks coming out. Megan Fox, first thing in the morning, is beautiful. Candice Swinnepal, who's one of the most gorgeous runway models right now, first thing in the morning, she's beautiful. And I know I didn't write this list, and I know they can't just go ahead and list 10 Brazilian supermodels you never heard of. But these girls like Nicole Kidman, Meg Ryan, I know either women or the gays are writing these articles. throw in a couple for us dudes, because I am interested in it. Honestly, it's pop trivia. I honestly love anything to do with pop trivia, and I think people and gossip and all that. I think most people kind of have that in them, no matter the toughest dude. I think UFC dudes like knowing who got voted off The View. Oh God, no, voted off The Voice. Oh, I wish they voted somebody off The View. I wish they voted that show off the air. But this was a little bit of nothing to do. This is a nice little example of what it is. It's nonsense, and sometimes the best sense is nonsense. Sometimes you need a little dose of non-reality, of fantasy, of ridiculousness that doesn't really matter, past the politics, past all the stuff that's sometimes shoved down your throat a little bit too much. I give you a little bit something softer for your palate, something softer for your soft palate. This has nothing to do with Brian. Hit me up on my website, please. NothingToDoRadio.com. 5 to 6 every Friday, KCAA. And I guess I'll talk to you guys next time. Have a great weekend.
You're on board KCAA's Inland Talk Express. KCAA, Loma Linda, 1050 AM, the station that leaves no listener behind.